Welcome to Dracaena Wines Podcast. Our wines plus your moments equals great memories. I'm your host, Lori, and this is a podcast about all things wine. Welcome to episode 101 of Dracaena Wines Podcast. Today, I am joined by my wine writer friends as we discuss wine pairing fairy tales. There are the textbook pairings, but do we really need to follow them? What if your palate doesn't agree with them, with what they recommend? Well, we are here to provide you with some options. We discuss some of our favorite pairings as well as some of our biggest mistakes. Those pairings that will go down in history as the worst thing we ever tried to do. But we did survive and we moved on to the next one. The good thing is that even if you choose a bad match, you can always just drink the wine and eat the food separately and enjoy them both. So as you're listening, if you could please take a moment to rate and review us on the podcast catcher, it would be greatly appreciated. It is amazing that there are some podcasts that get recommended that haven't produced a new episode in years just because they had a lot of ratings. It really doesn't matter what you say. You can just say, we love it. And it would really help move us up that algorithm. Thanks. Slancha. We are live and welcome to this month's episode of Wine Writers Wrap Up, where we are going to be talking about wine pairing fairy tales. And when I came up with this concept, it's very, very broad. I really didn't have an outline or a real direction for it. I just wanted people's opinions on what they look for in wine pairings and what they think is like the best wine pairing or what they think is like, oh my God, you got to stay away from this wine pairing. I wasn't really going in the direction of what the schools say, but we'll touch into that a little bit to possibly guide us. So happy almost middle of March already. I can't believe it's flying. The year is flying, and maybe eventually we'll get out of this cold weather, so at least we can ship the wines that people have ordered 2.5 months ago, but we'll see. So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves. Maria, how about you first?
All right. Hi, I am Maria Ferraro Beardsley, and I am joining from a land far, far away, Costa Rica.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm in our loft right now,
wow.
And I'm crammed into a little tiny space, but this is our best lighting, so I'm here to represent wineandcheesefriday.com, and we have been in the wine and cheese industry for over 7 years.
Wow. And what time is it there?
It's 6:06
p.m.
p.m. Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm so bad at that. Okay, awesome. Michael?
I'm Michael Kelly. I have a website, https California Wines and Wineries, and I also have a blog, California Wines and Wineries.
Awesome. And Nicole?
Hi, I'm Nicole Ruiz, Hudson, and I travel in all kinds of different areas around blogging in the wine business. I work at a store called Bakery. I have 2 blogs, Nibbling, Gypsy, and Psalm Stable. I also do a pairing column, so today's topic is very true to me, for Wine Spectator called 8 and 20. And I also am one of the organizers for Batonage Forum, which is a women in wine event happening on May 4th. So, oh my gosh, like.
You are a busy bee.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. And Christine just joined us, but Christine, there we go. I was going to say you are muted.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
So Christine, welcome to Wine Writers Wrap Up for your first time. Thank you for joining in.
Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely. So do you want to just share a little bit about who you are and give people a little bit of info about you?
Sure. So let's see. I've been working in the wine industry for maybe about 8 or 9 years. The brand that you might be most familiar with is OMG, I So Need a Glass of Wine, or I'm going to sell my kids. And that's kind of what paved the way, opened the doors for me to start working in the wine industry. And most recently, John Taylor and I have partnered to launch the Pairs with Life podcast that we just launched 2 weeks ago. And so that is our latest endeavor.
That is awesome. And I will say I have listened to every episode. So congratulations. You guys do make me laugh, and it's some very interesting stuff. So thank you.
Thanks.
And for everybody else, I am Lori Budd. I am your host, and I am the co-owner with my husband of Dracaena Wines in Paso Robles. We produce award-winning Cabernet Franc, Rosé of Syrah. I have been super, super busy getting our wine club stuff getting ready because they will get their shipment April 1st. And we just poured at the OC Wine Fest in San Juan Capistrano, which was incredible. And that will be an annual event for us every year because it was phenomenal this weekend. So that's me. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start talking I take that back. Before we get into the wine pairing, the all-important, are we clinking? Are we drinking? What's everybody got in their glass? And Christy's like, I've got to go get my glass.
I've got a Chilean Cab / Carmenere.
Okay.
Montez.
How difficult is it to find wine there?
Well, that's why I thought a fairy tale pairing would be appropriate for here. Yeah, it's okay. It can be hard, but I've been here 4 times now, and so I know some of the brands that I've liked before. So there isn't a lot to find for paving the way for new and exciting things, but there are a few that I've had it multiple times.
Okay. Michael, are you clinking or are you doing water again?
No, I'm doing the phantom drink here.
Nicole?
Well, I am between tastings right now. I came from a tasting and I'm going to a tasting, so I'm drinking water right now.
Oh, okay. That's good. Tastings are. Oh, I should tell you. I'll tell you guys a story of my tasting yesterday. And Christine?
So I haven't had a chance to pop the cork yet because I just walked in, but I did grab Aglianico from Pear Valley.
Oh,
down in Paso.
Yay,
yeah.
Paso! Woo!
I love Pear Valley, and so that was my last trip down there, and my cat is joining us too.
Oh, that's good. That's good. We're all animal friendly. That is awesome. I do Pear Valley. It's so beautiful there. I love their tasting room. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I am tasting a wine from Israel.
I've been there.
To this winery?
That winery. Yeah.
It is.
I got to go last January.
I am really impressed. I received this as a sample. I should acknowledge that I received this as a sample. But it is really good. It is very flavorful. It's rather complex. It's really not what I was expecting. So I was really, I'm enjoying it a lot. I was at a wine event that I was tasting an Israeli, what was I tasting? Oh, that's horrible. An Israeli Garnacha. And I was not so much a fan of that one. It was in a lineup, and as soon as I took it, I was like, oh, and the person next to me was like, oh, and I thought she was agreeing with me, but her was like, yeah, this is really good, and my was like, ah. So kind of shows you the difference of, what a palate can do. Everybody's palate is definitely different. All right, so let's get into some wine pairing fairy tales. The basic stuff is, generally speaking, we all talk about Cabernet Sauvignon with a steak or Chardonnay with rich fish, Malbec with grilled meats. But I want to know, what are some unusual pairings? What are the craziest things that you've heard of, good or bad? What are some crazy stuff out there?
So I like to drink bubbles a lot, and pretty much goes with anything in my opinion.
That is true.
But I actually like bubbles with kettle corn.
Oh, me too.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's really a weird thing, but it goes together really. Any kind of popcorn, actually, but like the sweet savory, I think it goes really well together. And then Sauv Blanc. What's that?
Sorry, potato chips too with
I was just going to say potato chips with goat cheese and Sauv Blanc. But yeah, also with bubbles too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe a year, 2 years ago, I think people would say that was a crazy pairing, bubbles and kettle corn. But somewhere along the last couple of years, it has become the pairing. Like, talk about fairy tale happy endings. Like that, that is really.
Well, who doesn't love bubbles and who doesn't love kettle corn? So.
That,
Yep.
yeah.
I've heard a lot about popcorn pairings, but I don't think I've ever done them. I eat popcorn, but I don't ever have wine then.
Really?
You should try it.
There's even, depending on the Chardonnay, I mean bubbles, but depending on the Chardonnay also, kettle corn and Chardonnay go well. But now, Christine, is it just kettle corn? Kettle corn?
I think as far as like the type of popcorn?
Yeah.
No, because a buttery popcorn goes really good with the bubbles too, because it cuts through like that fattier, salty taste, I think. So that's a really good one.
Okay.
If I could just add on there, because like sometimes depending on what like bubbles I'm having, I'll kind of add a little seasoning to kind of match a bit. So like with cava, I'll add like smoked paprika or something along those lines, so it's kind of smokier flavor. So I think that's kind of a fun way to tweak things and keep it interesting.
That sounds good.
You are reading my mind, Nicole. That is exactly a phenomenal pairing. And I don't know if everybody has paprika in their house, but like we've got that spice draw, that you've got to do this for to figure out what's exactly in there. But paprika is in there, and yeah, that's awesome with cava. Michael, have you ever done that pairing?
Not champagne. We, on occasion, will do some Cabernets or Chardonnays with regular popcorn.
Cabernet, okay.
Yeah, we've done lots of Cabernet with popcorn.
See, now that's one I haven't done. I haven't done Cabernet and popcorn. Just plain old like Orville Redenbacher popcorn, like, or a specific flavor.
Yeah, just plain regular popcorn. Okay. And typically, that's when my wife will say, I want to get some popcorn for watching a movie or something. I said, sure. Well, I have the dogs on my lap, so she goes up and she opens a $200 bottle of Cabernet with popcorn.
Yeah, she's over the stove with the old Jiffy Pop.
Yeah, microwave.
Nicole, you guys are younger, but do you guys know Jiffy Pop? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I grew up on it. Yeah.
Okay, I mean you are younger, so I don't.
I'll take it. I'll totally take that.
But it is Christine, you're always saying John says he's always the oldest man in whatever room he's in. I'm sure he knows Jiffy Pop.
No, I grew up with it too. We had it. It was always such a treat when we could do the Jiffy Pop over the stove ourselves.
Oh.
And it's like the not even with the gas range, cooking Jiffy Pop over an electric range.
Oh.
Anyway, but yeah, that's something about that burnt popcorn smell. I like it.
Yeah. One Christmas, before we sold our house here in Jersey, Mike bought me, for Christmas, the stick to roast my marshmallows in our fireplace, and the thing that you put corn kernels in, so I can make my own popcorn in our own fireplace. And that, talk about movie night, Michael, that's what that would be. We'd decide what movie we were getting. We would, I'd sit there, I'd pop the popcorn, and then we'd settle in with it. But I think popcorn is very versatile. You can, and I do think it's becoming much more popular, as a pairing, and as a meal where people just eat as a meal.
It's filling.
But Michael, I probably wouldn't pair a $200 Cabernet.
I wouldn't, but my wife doesn't. We're totally different spectrums of the wine world, and she just goes and grabs a bottle and puts it, marks it off, and it's 200, 250. It doesn't matter to her. It's a bottle of wine.
It's a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
That's not a bad way to be. Not a bad way to be. I have to admit, it's kind of tiring sometimes going through Cellar Tracker and saying, oh, I should drink this one. It's a lot easier just to, pick and choose, whatever.
Just pull something off the drink list.
Yep. You get to fill that glass a lot faster that way.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're just having a craving, then you really can't go wrong, because if it sounds like it's going to taste good, usually it will. Well, not always, but hopefully.
Right.
There's always exceptions to that rule, but yeah.
That is true. So what, I actually heard this the other day, and I don't know where I heard it, so I can't give credit to it, so I apologize. But, there's the basic stuff of what to serve with high acid food, what to serve with salty food. But somebody was mentioning, think about the weight of the food and the weight of the wine. What do we think about that as a rule of pairing?
I actually use that one a lot
Do you?
when I'm coming up with my pairings. Because sometimes I think it's often overlooked, and sometimes, if you pick something that's way too weighty, it'll just overwhelm the food. Whereas like something that's medium bodied to light bodied actually kind of will tend to work pretty. I think those are actually a little bit more versatile. So I actually think unless you're having like something really meaty where you think you can't go really all that wrong, it's actually easier to skew like lower in weight, like medium to light bodied, to get a better, my personal.
So you're saying heavy food with a with a heavy wine, but you can skew to the medium wine?
Yeah.
Okay. Michael, Christine, have you heard that concept before?
It makes sense to me. Yeah, now that it's explained out, I haven't heard it actually worded that way, weighted, but I'm also not a som.
Right.
I have never heard that, and I'm just kind of reminiscing through all the different, we go through probably 8 of these things, food pairing. I shouldn't say 8. I go through about 15 pairings a month, food and wine pairings, and it just doesn't, I have to think it through. And I guess it sort of goes that way, I would say.
Yeah. I think, Maria, we were talking about, I had heard, instead of pairing specific things, think about the weight of the food versus the weight of the wine. So that's what we're talking about.
Sorry, lost my connection there.
Yeah, it might be a little tough in Costa Rica, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a nice rule. I haven't really thought about it that way, but you guys who know me, I don't eat like normal people eat. So what am I going to pair with my Cliff Bar tonight?
That'd actually be an interesting post, Lori.
Maybe I should do that, right? They have the Girl Scout cookie thing.
Yep.
Maybe.
I just did that post.
Did you?
I did. I just did a post on Girl Scout cookies. It was fun. Really fun.
I mean, I wish I could take my camera and turn it around, except you would see what a disaster everything is back there. But at this very moment, I've got 6 cases, 12 packs of different Cliff Bars sitting over there. So I personally say all the time that I should be their spokesperson, but they keep ignoring me on that. I don't know why.
Well, I think with the idea of the Girl Scout cookie pairings, they probably would follow the same idea as the Cliff Bars, because there's a peanut butter Cliff Bar and the chocolate chip Cliff Bar and all of that. So you'd probably be able to line it up pretty closely.
Yeah. We should collaborate, Nicole. Do a joint.
I actually think that'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be. And now they've got the salt and savory line of Cliff Bars. So they've really expanded what I can pair my wine with.
I actually did a live streaming video with, I don't know if you know Rachel Thralls. She's a sommelier.
I know the
Tia
name.
Okay, and Tia Butts, she has a PR firm here in Napa. And we did a live stream on a wine show a few years ago, and it was wine pairings with Girl Scout cookies. But we had all the cookies out, and we had so many bottles of wine, and we probably did, 12 or 15 different varietals. I mean, we had a different varietal for each wine. It was fun, and we all Ubered home. All the way to the bubbles, and like different types. So we did Prosecco and some Brut, and, really kind of got specific with it. And then I think we may have even brought out some Mother's cookies, the little frosting ones.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So it was fun. So I would be super interested if you two collaborated and did something with the Cliff Bars or things. It's completely relevant.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
All right, Nicole, we have a job to do. Is your post live, Nicole? I didn't see it.
It was a couple weeks ago. So it's on Tom's table.
Oh, okay. Because I get the notifications that you do a new post, but I've kind of been running around like a chicken without my head, so. But I'll look it up but I don't actually eat. I only eat 2 Girl Scout cookies. I eat the chocolate mint, the chocolate mint ones, and then I also eat I think the tag-along. Is that what they're called? The peanut butter with the chocolate. Yeah. Those are. I don't like the sandwich peanut butter ones, but the chocolate peanut butter ones I do. In fact, my Starbucks drink is it's a thin mint Starbucks drink. It's green tea frappuccino with peppermint pumps and Java chips. So
that sounds so good.
It's really good.
Oh my god. I'm on such a limited diet for health reasons, and I'm just like, I need to do some type of a pairing that can show that this wine pairs with your misery and tears.
That sounds like a good blog post or a podcast. Right? That sounds like an awesome podcast.
At least you guys can actually be in the presence of a Girl Scout cookie. They don't do that here, so I'm like, oh yeah, Girl Scout cookies. Oh, I love them. Oh, okay, close my ears.
Send you a care package.
Yeah, we'll get a GoFund going for you, so we can ship you a case of Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, hey, I would totally be on board with
that. All right. So another kind of general rule is this one I thought was kind of funny how they worded it. Unoaked white with anything you can squeeze a lemon on.
See, I would guess that you'd go like Sauv Blanc or some sort of citrus acidic wine.
Right.
If you're putting lemon on something. I wouldn't. I don't know, but I can't say I've tried squeezing a lemon on things and then having Chardonnay.
Right. Well, they're saying an unoaked one, so either an unoaked Chardonnay or a Sauvignon Blanc. I get that. Not so much a Chenin Blanc. I don't see a Chenin Blanc there, but.
But to your point, I kind of think of anything high acid kind of in the same way. Mm-hmm. And when I occasionally teach pairing classes, and I will often say to think of like a lighter white, or actually just like anything with acidity that it will act like that squeeze of lemon that sort of just like heightens the flavors and brings out flavors in food. So I kind of think of it in that way too. It also refreshes the palate. So which sort of allows you to keep on going and eating more.
Right, because we all need more all the time.
Right. I found, Christine, you were mentioning bubbles. I found that bubbles really cleanse the palate a lot too.
Absolutely.
I think that's why sparkling has become, that's one of the reasons why sparkling has become stepped over that hurdle of special occasion wine. Because, I mean, is there anything really that it doesn't pair with? Like, that you're
That's
like,
true.
Oh my God, this is the worst thing ever on the face of the earth. Like, where, I've had wines where I'm like, whoa, that's not. Oh, I'm thinking of something as I'm speaking about it. But
Right.
what would you say, Christine? What would you say? You would not pair sparkling with?
Oh, chocolate?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's okay, because chocolate goes with everything else. So, see, we don't even need wine for chocolate, right?
That right.
See, I actually disagree.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually think that chocolate and wine gets overhyped, or like people like, or at least, I don't know, like, it doesn't necessarily go with every red wine the way like people.
I agree with you. Yeah,
I
totally
completely agree.
But then again, then I've tried some like actually really surprising chocolate pairings that then kind of make me eat my own words and like, oh, this is amazing. Like I went to a winemaker lunch a few years ago for Arnaldo Capri, so Sacramento, and one of their aged wines with a chocolate cake, and at least it was a bitter chocolate cake, but I really would not have thought that would have gone, and it was kind of magical. So that was a surprise pairing for me.
Well, one of the pairings that we recommend with our Cabernet Franc is actually a chocolate pairing, but it's a raspberry chocolate torte. So it's a bitter chocolate, but the raspberry in the chocolate really pulls out that flavor in the Cabernet Franc. But I'm going back to the sparkling. Like I think that people think luxury and luxury, so like chocolate and sparkling, chocolate and champagne. But when you eat that chocolate and you take that sparkling, that chocolate becomes a whole, unless I'm sure there's people who know exactly what type of chocolate to pair with it, but there's something that it does to the chocolate. It becomes, in my opinion, like mealy, like
chalky.
Yeah.
Kind of dries it out. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's chocolates out there that can go with it. But generally speaking, Marie, that sparkling really does cleanse your palate on everything and just allows you to want more food, more everything.
Yeah, and I did a wine pairing with sparkling wines with Chris from Wine 101 Hamden back in the fall, and we did 4 different types of sparkling. We did Lambrusco, California sparkling, a Prosecco, and a Cava, and I mean, it was just magic. Like, all of them, like, cleansed your palate when you had it with the cheese. And, I mean, we all know that's where I am, wine and cheese. But, yeah, I mean, the cleansing with the bubbles was just like magic. It was like, okay, now I'm going to try the next cheese, or, oh, now I can go back to tasting the wine and then switch to a different cheese and do this. I mean, it was like the magic eraser or something.
Now I want to eat and drink all the things.
I know. That's the danger of episodes like this. You get all hungry and thirsty. All right, and then
So I have one thing just to add to that. I just can't imagine doing champagne or bubbles with a barbecued, a nice ribeye barbecued or tri-tip.
I don't know. I don't eat that.
I knew, yeah.
I don't. I don't know.
I could sort of see it with fish or maybe a little chicken, but I just couldn't see it with a heavy barbecue.
You think it's too powerful? The food is too powerful?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
People
would
who
be
eat
an interesting experiment to try out. I would be on board with that. Barbecue is delicious, so I would give it a try.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the weather's starting to happen, so we'll fire up the barbecue here pretty quick.
Oh, good.
Like maybe like a rosé in a heavier style.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know. I'm curious.
Well, because I've had sparkling rosé like Renard with cheeseburgers, and it was really good. But there was also goat cheese on the burger, right. So maybe that has a totally different flavor. It's not a tri-tip.
Rosé and a hamburger is one of my favorite pairings.
Oh, nice.
Any chance I get, I do it.
I'm thinking I wonder if it depends on not necessarily the meat, but the different types of barbecue. Like if it's a dry rub, like a Memphis dry rub type thing, I can kind of see it going, because the dry rub has that spiciness and it's not heavy, right? I mean, like, again, I don't eat it, but right? I mean, a Memphis rub, it's a rub versus that stuff that you're like licking your fingers off of.
Then you also don't have the sweet factor to contend with, like you would with like a stickier, sweeter sauce.
Right. Because there's different types of barbecue, right? There's like,
so like
sweeter, more spicy, yeah, and even the thickness of what that sauce is, right? Like some are more on the red, so like Tabasco-y stuff, and then
gray or more tomato based.
Yeah.
And we usually marinate them for like 24 hours before we barbecue.
See, now there you go. There's another, Michael, there's your blog post for you. Okay. Do the same meat, but different barbecue sauces, and see how that goes.
And share the recipes.
Yes.
It's a really fun experiment. Like, we have like all kinds of ideas for new posts,
Yeah. I don't know, because I really am thinking like a dry rub would be good. Mm-hmm. But I'm only eating the seasoning, but I don't know. I should never pair food, because seriously, I don't know what I'm talking about. But there you go, Michael. I'm giving you a job to do.
Yeah, okay. I wrote it down.
Okay. Add it to the
30 days, you'll get results.
To do list. There you go. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the question of pairing wine with dinner is something that I've been running up against here, because, like I said, there's only a handful of wines that I'm excited about drinking. But we've also been switching almost to a vegetarian diet since we've been here, because there's so much produce, which is awesome, that we're like, oh, whatever, we'll just eat produce. But like, I tried pairing an Argentinian Sauv Blanc with this vegetable bowl that we had the other day, and I was like, no. And I'm like, okay, so I either won't drink wine with dinner, or I'll drink wine like right now before dinner, so I can still drink wine. But it has been tricky to try to adjust, because I mean, in the States we eat a lot different than we do here, I guess, because everybody's around and there's barbecues and there's this and there's that, and so it's not like we have to eat vegetarian or that we want to eat it all the time, although we do enjoy it. But it's been something a little tricky to get adjusted to. Like, I've been thinking, well, I guess I want to do white wines with these, because am I going to do red wines with vegetables? I don't know. But, I mean, do you guys have any perspective on that? I know there's been some pairings lately of like, oh, this is great to go with vegetarian food, but what do you guys know about that?
Well, I just wrote a post that went live on Saturday that paired our reserve Cabernet Franc with vegetarian fare.
Right. What was the dish? I did see that today when I was
spinach quiche. Spinach quiche.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And Christine, with what I put in it to make it really go with the pairing is I added goat cheese to it. So Cab Franc and goat cheese are pretty good buddies. They go well together. And then the other cheese that was in the quiche was a blend of Mexican cheeses. So it was all of that that flavor that just comes through, and the Cab Franc just like cheers for that.
Right.
Oh, it sounds so good.
I thought that post actually made a really good point that kind of feeds in here. That like because Cab Franc's tannins are a little like they're not as aggressive, it works better with vegetarian cuisine. And I kind of think that's sort of true if you're unless it's a heavy vegetarian dish. Going back to the weight thing that we were talking about before, but unless it's a heavy dish, you probably want to go with something with lighter tannins that it isn't going to compete with the food so much. But I thought that was a great point for me.
No. Yeah, like I wouldn't do curry tofu with my Cab Franc.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I would not. So depending on what that sauce is, or how, like you said, how heavy that food is, I would not do that. But I do think Cab Franc is very versatile for vegetarians. It does nicely because of the tannins, and that it's got that earthiness that a lot of vegetarian fare has. And I don't eat mushrooms, but it goes phenomenal, with that type of thing. And now, a word from our sponsor. Did you know that Dracaena Wines now has a wine club? We named it the Chalk Club. Draco is on our label, but Vegas was getting a little jealous, so we decided he deserved to be our club spokesdog. In Las Vegas, betting chalk means that you are betting on all of the favorites. We are betting that we are one of your favorite wineries, so we thought the name was apropos. The club is simple, yet a bit different than most. When you wager on us, we will ship you 3 bottles of wine twice a year, once in April and once in September. You can choose all red or mix of red and rosé. You immediately receive 15% off of all your wine purchases throughout the year, but what makes our club stand out is the progressive discount. Let your club membership ride into the next year. Your discount increases. Each year you parlay your membership, you receive an additional 5% off up to a planned maximum of 25%. Your club shipments are discounted to a flat $15, plus we'll cover your club shipping cost for your second shipment. That's $15 house money in a sure bet for you. So please head to our website, dracaenawines.com, and find out all of the benefits of joining the Chalk Club and how to sign up. We've stacked the odds so that you can get our award-winning wines without breaking the bank. All right, then we all know the low alcohol wines with spicy foods. Okay, right? Because if you pour on the alcohol with the spicy food, you're sitting there, wiping your face every 2 seconds. Has anybody, because I have, has anybody had a high alcohol with spicy?
Oh, yeah. We all make mistakes.
Yeah, I've done that.
With chicken wings. It was horrible because I thought that they were going to be sweet, but still that wouldn't have been a good pairing. And I was already drinking the wine, and I just grabbed some chicken wings, and they were spicy, and it was horrible. It ruined the food, and it ruined the wine. My palate was completely shot.
I've done versions of that too, where it just kind of like inflames your mouth and nothing is working, and all of a sudden everything tastes bad.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
And even the trick of just eating a piece of dry bread, like not toast, but like just like Wonder Bread type, like that bread, that doesn't help after you've made that mistake. It doesn't help.
You're just screwed.
It's like, but I'm not right. Am I not lying? If you have the high heat and the high alcohol, and you start drinking like 2 minutes into the meal, your napkin is like drenched. Like it just intensifies everything. It's science, It's incredible. What do we do with salty foods?
Shouldn't that be sweet?
I would do a sweet. I would do a sweet if you're into sweet.
Salty cheese, you would definitely go a sweeter wine. Well, funky cheese usually go a sweeter wine. Salty cheese, you have to be careful with wine because the alcohol will come out if it's a really salty cheese in the wine.
I like Pinot with salty things.
I think
Like, I was specifically thinking of salty cheese, like blue cheese.
Right.
The last time, I think I had a Russian, I think it was a Russian River Pinot. And so, pretty balanced. And yeah. So I don't know. What do you think about that? A Pinot with salt?
I think I go back to high acid. I'll go back to high acid. But the thing I do like about Pinot is because of its, I consider it a lighter wine, because of that lightness, it does pair nicely and calm down. I think it would calm down the salt in the food. And I think that, salt, if you cook, one of the things I have to consistently yell at my husband about is he's like, salt enhances flavor. And he's like throwing salt on, everything. Meanwhile, his blood pressure is, whatever. So I think that a Pinot takes that salt and magically enhances the Pinot and calms down the salt, like in the food. I think that's a good pair. I think that's a good combo.
And in general, because Pinot is so intense to often have savory notes in it, I think a lot of salty, umami, savory foods, just like they're happy friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just looking through some of my past pairings with goat cheeses that I don't remember which wine it was, but it made the salt from the cheese move into the wine. It was a pretty cool reaction. It was like the salt transferred from the cheese to the wine, which I don't know. I just get excited when they transform like that. That's why I pair them.
So, I don't even know that. That's horrible. Goat cheese is considered a high salt cheese?
No, not necessarily, but the one that I was looking at was a goat cheese because I was looking at only goat cheeses for an event that I'm going to be doing.
What cheeses would you say are higher in salt?
I would say Parmesan, Pecorino, a lot of the hard aged cheeses are definitely the saltier cheeses. And how people say that it's easier to pair white wine, that's one of the reasons that they say that is that if you have a salty cheese and you do a high alcohol red with it, then you're just going to taste alcohol and you're not going to taste cheese and you're not going to taste anything. It's just going to have the alcohol kind of take over. So those saltier cheeses people recommend against doing with red wines. Like I said, the Pecorino, the Parmesan, the really hard cheeses, but that's not to say that you can't. I mean, it's like we said. I mean, there's by the book pairings.
All right, so yeah, because salt definitely enhances that alcohol. It increases the alcohol effect. Sweet foods.
Riesling. Sweet foods are tricky. So whenever I do a pairing that has a sweet component, I feel like there's an extra consideration that you have to contend with. And Riesling tends to be the safest, or anything that has an off-dry Riesling tends to be very friendly. And then, or if it's something that needs a red wine, then you ideally look for something with a lot of fruit to it.
I will share. Mike loves to remind me of this story. We were in Napa, and I don't remember what winery it was, but they poured an orange Moscato for us. And I tasted it, and I was like, oh my God, this is really good. Now, I will preface it that it was 6 o'clock in the evening, and we had started wine tasting at 10. So even the tasting, I do spit, but whatever. I thought it was really good. And I forced him to buy this bottle of orange Moscato. I'm like, no, this is awesome. This is awesome. I don't eat dessert, like, ever. Like, it is like a bad word to me, dessert. He makes me a birthday cake and then he yells at me that I have to take a bite of my birthday cake. So he's standing in the winery and he's like, when are you going to drink this? I'm like, oh, we'll do it. Don't worry about it. Like 10 years later, it's in the cellar. Like, I'm like, we'll pour it over ice cream. We'll do whatever. We never have ice cream in our house. We never have anything of that, So sweet wines is really a tough one for me.
And sorry, when I should have said off dry, because sweet is hard to pair, but something that's a little off dry will sometimes will work well with sweetness in food. The rule of thumb is that you would like your wine to be sweeter than food.
Right. But now, with that being said, I have become a Golden Bordeaux fiend. Like, I am more than happy to sit down with, when I'm getting ready to go to bed and have a nice little glass of Golden Bordeaux. Like, Sauternes has become my final evening decompression, But, so how about sweet pairings? Any best sweet pairings you guys have had?
Like a sweet wine with a sweet. I think the best sweet wine with a sweet I ever had was with Dolce.
Oh.
Dolce with a peach tartlet. And that was super amazing.
Was that at a restaurant, or did you make that? Somebody made it?
Oh, I didn't make it. But, yeah. I cannot bake to save my life. No, it was a wine dinner that I was hosting for a children's home that I was on the board of at the time. And so Nicole was my sponsoring vintner. So, yeah,
nice.
So Bruce Morrison with Nicole and brought, so they paired their wines with each course. And I had a private chef come in, and she cooked the tartlet to pair with the Dolce, which is really cool. So, yeah, but it was great. And I wasn't sure. I was hesitant because I was expecting a much sweeter tartlet, but going to your point, Nicole, that you want the wine to be sweeter than the food. And that was a perfect example because there isn't anything much sweeter than Dolce. Right. It could have been a disaster.
I was going to ask, did you taste the tartlet, taste the wine? Like, did you see how it combined, or did you just dive right in?
Oh God, it's a great question. I'm sure I was drinking the wine before the tartlet because by then it was already the final course. And I had already tasted some in the kitchen before we were served, I'm sure. So, but I do remember I did go back and forth, a couple bites and a sip, bites and sip. But definitely they enhance the flavors of each other. I mean, Dolce is such a big, sweet wine, but it seemed like it brought out more of the peach in the tartlet. And not so much the sugar, but more of the citrus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I always like to pair a sweet wine with a blue cheese. I find that always works well together. Blue cheese can be funky and people don't want to go near it and it looks gross and whatever, but
love it. Bring it my way.
Bring it, yeah, exactly. Or to me, because I'll happily eat it. With the sweet wine, they typically go really well together. The sweet balances the funkiness, and it just works really well. I worked at a winery in Florida also, and we had a sweet wine that we carried. It was one of their top-selling wines, and they suggested making a wine cocktail and pairing it with vodka. So officially, unofficially, that's not really a pairing, but that did work also.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Michael, do you have sweets in your house?
I'm listening to this and I'm embarrassed that I have no sweet wine in the house. I have a couple of ports, but that's about it. I mean, it's we just stay with those lousy $200 caps.
Oh yeah. Those are just horrible. Those are just horrible. Yeah.
I actually love dessert wines when they're good. So I like to play with sweet pairings quite a bit. So but there's a dessert that I find pretty versatile. Nigella Lawson has this clementine cake that is delicious on its own, and then I find it tends to go really well with a lot of different desserts. So, dessert wines. So, like the Sauterne, the sweeter end of Riesling. I did one of the more obscure things. It was a Maculan Chini Nobile from the Veneto, which is kind of like a Vinsanto, and that was phenomenal. So I like that one because the cake isn't that sweet, and you can kind of give you room to play quite a bit.
Wow. They when I had done a Golden Bordeaux tasting, and I think they're trying to get away from the concept of you have to have something sweet with the Bordeaux, and they sent a whole bunch of savory snacks, and it was the ones that I would eat were like really incredible pairings. It's amazing what the savory can do with that sweetness also.
What types of snacks did they send?
They were a lot of Trader Joe's. There was they had sent a couple of meat-based stuff, so that went to Dad. Here you go. But there was like a little bit of, there was a little heat, spicy chips or whatever. There was sweet potato chips, which really went well. There were regular chips, like tortilla chips that had some savory seasonings on them and stuff. It was a while ago, almost a year ago now, but I did write a blog post about it, and I talked about what foods there were. So that was really interesting. But I just like Sauternes by itself. Like, I just like to sit and chill with it. And it does help go to sleep at night. But when you did your cookie pairing, was there any sweet?
Oh yeah, there was lots.
Yeah.
Well, like a lot of times when I read, one of the reasons I did it was a lot of times when I read the suggested pairings, sometimes you get infographics and other places I've seen, and they tend to pair a lot of the sweeter cookies with like dry wines, and we tried a few, and that to me just doesn't work. Like with some of the less sweet, like a Thin Mint, you can kind of get away with it because it's a little less sweet, and like the shortbread one and the lemon ones, like you might be able to get away with some slightly drier wines, but in general, like a tawny port, ruby port, Madeiras did much better with the super sugary cookies, like the tagalongs, the samoas, the peanut butter sandwiches. Yes. So those definitely went better with the sweeter wines.
I'm gonna have to look that up when I get off of this. We're gonna go read your blog post, because I don't like I said, I don't eat sweet foods, so and to me, like, I can't drink port. Like, well, I should say as of now, I can't drink port because 5 years ago I wasn't drinking Bordeaux. I wasn't drinking Sauternes either. So the palate does change as you evolve. But port, there's just something about port. It always burns. It burns me going, and I just don't like that. But on the same respect, I don't like, or I consider it the same. I don't even know if it's the same level. Like I don't like the dark stouts of beers. As I don't that whole, I equivalent that to the same feeling I get. I just don't like that sensation, I guess. But again, I haven't tried it with a pairing. The closest I've gotten was I was at a New Jersey winery that made port style wine. And they brought out, we were doing a tasting for a press event, and they introduced me to a Tim Tam Slam. Oh my hell! That was like, I will drink this all day long if you do it that way. You know? Do you guys know what a Tim Tam Slam is?
I don't. I used to bartend. Why don't I know what this is?
Oh, go ahead, Nicole. You can explain it.
So I feel like you just went through it. You should.
It's Australian. I'll go with it's Australian, but.
Chicken wings are these like wafer cookies that are from Australian, and they have them in different flavors, but they're kind of they're kind of straw shaped, almost like kind of a thick straw, kind of like this. And a Tim Tam Slam is when you bite the corner off of like
chocolate covered wafer.
Yeah, on each end, and then you put it in the drink. So it can be tea, it can be coffee, or it can be wine, I guess. And then you suck through the center. You pull up through the sort of the creamy center, and it kind of creates this whole bizarre sensation in your mouth. It's great. It's kind of half crispy, half kind of falling apart. It's sort of
and it's
so you can do it with any kind of drink.
Yeah,
you can, but Australians do it with the sweeter. With the sweeter wines. And that's what we learned at this event. And I do believe that if you go to our Dracaena Wines YouTube page and whatever, search Tim Tam Slam, there's a video of me doing it. I don't like port, right? So it wasn't my cup of tea. But as soon as you put it in that chocolate straw, it was really, really good. Like it really, and you're right, but you do have to kind of eat it quickly because it's like it's almost like over dunking an Oreo, you over dunk the Oreo, so you got to eat it before it crumbles all over the place. But yeah, so Google Tim Tam Slam. There, it's a good way to drink port, but it is fun. That's all I can say. Yes. So, all right. The last one we're going to do is, because we are almost out of time, is high fat foods. So what do we do when you're having a really big old high fat food? What do we think?
Bubbles again. Yeah.
It does cut through it really nicely.
Yeah.
Well, I'd come back to cheese because cheese has a ton of fat, and you could do anything you want. Then, I mean, red, white, Sauv Blanc, Chardonnay, Cab, Malbec, Pinot. I mean, you name it. All of them could work with a fatty cheese.
We've said this already a couple of times before, but again, high acid wines.
Yep.
Kind of again do the same thing we're talking about with the bubbles, and we just really cut through really nicely. Right. On the palate.
Cheeses that you need a spoon for.
Right.
What are we going with that?
Funky wine is usually what I would go with. A funky Pinot Noir, or usually those types of cheeses are really funky. I mean, they are soft, but the ones that I've had, I always describe as barnyard. So I'd say the cheese is barnyard, so go with the barnyard wine. And I found that the Pinot Noir, the funkier Pinot Noirs will work with that usually. You could do a fruity or a lighter white also. Typically, like if it's, a brie and it's a little oozy, but it's not, the ones that come in those wood boxes or anything, like those are the ones that usually fall apart. But yeah, you could usually go a white wine, a lighter white, pretty good with those oozy cheeses also.
Christine, were you gonna? Oh, Michael.
Well, there's I don't know what it's like a triple pasteurized or brie. What would that go with then?
The one that I've had was like a French triple cream cheese. Yeah. Usually I put a Chardonnay with that.
Okay.
An oaked Chardonnay, like a buttery one. Usually goes.
Oh, an oaked one. Okay.
The buttery flavor in the wine works with the buttery flavors in the cheese.
Because I was thinking that triple cream whatever. I don't think barnyard when I eat that stuff.
Yeah, no, not that one. I don't either. Yeah. I agree. The one that I've had, I always say that one looks like a cake. It's like from Burgundy, and you can see like the different layers in it.
Yeah.
That type of a triple cream. But yeah, then there's like the ones that are in the shape like the brie. That's just the cylinder with the kind of oozy part in the middle.
Right.
You're making me so hungry.
I know.
And I know my husband's cooking dinner, and I can smell the garlic through the window, and I'm like, oh my god, that smells awesome.
Oh, yum, 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 yum. I love that smell. I really do. You know, it's my favorite part, right? It's riddle time. Michael, you got your pen ready?
I'm ready. I'm going.
Okay. I am as small as an ant, as big as a whale. I'll approach like a breeze, but can come like a gale. By some I get hit, by all I have shown fear. I'll dance to the music, though I can't hear. Of names I have many, of names I have one. I'm as slow as a snail, but you can't run from me. That's a really long one, so I'm sorry. I'll say it again. And I won't mess it up this time. Okay. I'm as small as an ant, as big as a whale. I'll approach like a breeze, but can come like a gale. By some I get hit, but all have shown fear. I'll dance to the music, though I can't hear. Of names I have many, of names I have one. I'm as slow as a snail, but from me you can't run.
Is it like a disease or?
It's not an STD, no.
Like, what kind of a group is this?
This is a long one. This is a long one. And normally, so like Michael, Nicole, you know, I try to like give hints after I read it the second time by saying where, you know, I pause at certain spots. I'm not really sure where to pause for for this one. But I'm not going to lie, I kind of got this one when I read it, so, yeah, I'll just say, okay. I'm as small as an ant, as big as a whale. I'll approach like a breeze, but can come like a gale. By some I get hit, by all but all have shown fear. I'll dance to the music, though I can't hear. Of names I have many, of names I have one. As slow as a snail, but you can't from me run. I think that last line is where I would pause, but it's the end. You can't run. Dude. What did you say?
It's a death.
Well, kind of. Do do do. Death is a what? Do 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 do. Starts with an S. Do 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 do.
A song?
No.
The song of death.
What? Let's see. What dances with you and you can't shake? You can't get rid of, but matters by time of day.
I'm so stumped by this.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Thanks.
Oh, your shadow.
Yay!
Bravo.
Well
Your shadow.
Very
Yep.
good.
Yep. Shadow. All right.
really good.
Welcome to the world of Wine Writers Wrap Up. I spend hours looking for riddles, Christina.
Do you really? I need this. I have not been the same. I developed Lyme disease a couple months ago.
Oh.
And my memory, I'm totally fine. But the treatment, the antibiotics totally fried my brain, I swear. So I've been trying to pick up crossword puzzles and doing things that are getting me sharp, trying to get me sharp again. It's really annoying. So I should start doing riddles.
Yes, and you should just keep coming back every month to Wine Writers Wrap Up because we always end with a riddle.
How fun. Okay, I'll be here.
If you need it, Mike also had Lyme disease.
Okay.
Mike had it years ago, and it was a disaster. It was a nightmare trying to diagnose it and everything. So, But yes. So we are at the point where you guys get your wrap up time, where you get to tell everybody, where they can find you, whatever you're dealing with at the moment, whatever you want them to know. So we're gonna go right to left this time. So Nicole, you are first this time.
Okay, so lots of places. On Instagram, Nibbling Gypsy and the Psalms Table. Also the respective blogs, 8 and 20 on Wine Spectator, and then Bachanage Forum, which is a women in wine forum happening in Napa Valley on the 4th. Tickets are on sale.
And I'm going to interrupt before we go to Michael. Is this something that potentially we can work together to bring down to Paso?
That's an interesting conversation that we'll have to.
As we're eating Girl Scout cookies and drinking wine, we can talk about that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Michael.
Let's see. I'm still feeling the effects of my last blog not blog story I put out on the philosophical presuppositions, and people are. I've stumped a lot of people. It was kind of like a riddle, maybe. I don't know. It stumped a lot of people. So still working on that, and I've got several stories in the works. And now I have a new one on grilling food and barbecuing food.
There you go. I expect to see that quickly. You do turn around your articles very fast, Michael, so I expect to see that within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, thank you.
Maria?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wine Cheese Fry, Facebook Wine and Cheese Friday, and our website is wineandcheesefriday.com. My most recent adventure here in Costa Rica was to go learn about cheese making in a tropical setting. And that'll be our next entry, and I'm really excited about it because I never really had put together why cheese making in a tropical setting would be any different than in Europe or something like that. So it was a really cool thing to learn about.
Awesome. I look forward to reading. And Christine?
You can find me on Instagram at OMGWine and also Pairs with Life. You can also find me on Facebook at OMG Wine. Try to keep it simple. And our podcast Facebook page is the Pairs with Life podcast. And our podcast website is pairswithlife.net. And we're on all the places where our episodes stream on all of the major streaming networks.
Awesome. Yay. And I will say, give them a listen because they will make you laugh while you're learning, and it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm Lori. I am keeping it simple. I am at Dracaena Wines on all social networks, so it made it nice and simple. And we are very excited that we will be releasing our rosé in just about 1 month, and we are getting ready to release to our Chalk Club. So if you really want to guarantee that you get our 90+ rated wines, head over to our website and sign up for the Chalk Club. We don't ask too much. It's just 3 bottles twice a year. So we keep it simple. Plus, you get lots of pictures of Vegas, so we're all good. And we do offer private tastings now. So if you're interested, if you are in Paso, head over to our website and click the Taste with Us and taste in the vineyards. I'm not going to lie, it's a lot prettier when, it's not winter. But, Maria? Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say, do it. Go to the vineyard. It was great. We had such a good time. And drinking wine when you're next to the vines is absolutely the coolest thing. So make it happen.
And Vegas. Don't Vegas is a ham. He's involved in everything. So thank you guys. Thank you very much for joining. Next month we will be back to the third Monday in the month. And again, I'm unprepared because my brain is scattered. But don't know what the topic is going to be. I'll come up with something. But it'll be the third month of Monday again. And I hope you all can join. And thank you very much for spending your Monday evening with me. So, Sláinte.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Lori.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Dracaena Wines Podcast. If you have suggestions on what topics you would like us to discuss, please reach out to us on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Google, and Periscope as @Dracaena Wines. I am also on LinkedIn as Lori Hoyt Budd, or email us at dracaenawines.com. If you enjoyed our podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast catcher to help others find us more easily. We are found on all of your favorite aggregators. To subscribe easily to iTunes, go to bit.ly/Dracaena Podcast. That's bit.ly/Dracaena Podcast. And that's a capital D for Dracaena and capital P for podcast. Please check out our award-winning wines and find out about our wine club at dracaenawines.com. And remember to always pursue your passion. Sláinte.